Whose man is this? Wait, accountability? I told y'all we don't take accountability over here. That's not what we do. We're Americans. Under the Trump administration, under America, we don't take accountability for nothing. What? That was somebody else's fault. That was somebody else's fault. That was my people's fault for not having my suit together, for not ironing my clothes, for not having my food prepared earlier. You know what I'm saying? Mic falling off, you feel me? This is obviously not my fault, people. This is what I want y'all to know. It's obviously not my fault that I'm late. For those of y'all that are gonna be watching this back, yeah, I was 10 minutes late. At first I was supposed to go live at 9, then that ain't work out. So then I had to go live at 9:30. You know what I'm saying? And then I was 10 minutes late to that because fake news. It's all fake news. And for some reason my hairline want to rise up. I don't know if I'm stressing out or what. Maybe it's because when I go outside, it's just like weird outside. Maybe that's why, And, we about a minute in. I'm going to give people just a little bit of time to get in here. But if don't nobody come in here, then we just going to be having a conversation with us. You know what I'm saying? And y'all just going to have to watch this back. And that's just what it's going to be. But it's been a long time that I haven't seen y'all. And this video is brought to you by Essentia water. You don't want to have any chemicals in your water, but if you do, go ahead and get you some Essentia and swirl it around and then take a nice big old gulp. Go ahead and do that for yourself. As soon as possible. The sooner the better. So, I'm gonna get this to about 3 minutes or so. And then I'm gonna just go. But I apologize for being late. To the people that love me, I apologize to y'all. But to those y'all that don't know me, we're not taking no accountability over here. We're not doing none of that. Because we Americans, you know what I'm saying? We don't take accountability, especially if we don't make us feel good about ourselves. Why would I do that? Why would I do that? Why would I want to be accountable if it's gonna make me feel bad? If it's gonna make me feel bad, I don't want to be accountable for nothing. It's not if it's gonna make me feel bad. I don't want to be accountable for nothing. You hear me? Nothing. You know what I mean? Nothing. I don't care if y'all saw me being late and y'all saw me put the phone down and not be on time. I don't want to be accountable for nothing. You know what I'm saying? Nothing. But, I'll give y'all about another minute to get in here and then I'm just going to get started. I got my Stevie Ray shades on, dog. I can't really see. Welcome in, everybody. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. We are the biggest, by the way. I go by the name SOLARMAN. You got to just double tap the screen. That's all you got to do there. I appreciate y'all being here. Yep. Let's see. We had about 3 minutes. Okay. Let's go ahead and get into it. I apologize for being late, y'all. I apologize for being late. What's going on, bro? I appreciate you being here. I appreciate y'all being here. I would take accountability, but I'm kind of like an American. In America, we do not take accountability for nothing. That's just not what we do. That's not what we do. Even if y'all saw me put the phone down and say I scheduled the live at 9, I didn't show up at 9. It's not my fault. Fake news. Even if you saw it with your own two eyes. Fake news. It's fake news. It's fake news. You know what I mean? We got to go full solo mood up. So full of blah. See, it's been such a long time. I can't even speak my own lines. We got to go full solo mode already. We got so much to talk about, because like so much has happened within the 9 days that I've seen you guys. Because I've kind of been like focusing on like quality over quantity. You know what I'm saying? Now that we're fully monetized, by the way. We are fully monetized, by the way. Y'all like this suit? Y'all didn't buy this suit. But I'm just saying, we're fully monetized. Nah, we're fully monetized, by the way. And, it's a pleasure to be here with you. You know what I'm saying? And I got to start, my first topic has to be starting in Minneapolis. Because that's just where everything's going on right now. Minneapolis, Minnesota, after the Sarah Renee Good thing happened, God rest her soul. But after, a white America saw that this lady got shot, you're like, whoa, the police, authority isn't always on our side, the people, I don't know, when did this happen? When did this happen? How long has it been like this? And then kind of like Black America, and you know, we kind of sent over there like, oh, I told you so. And then I'm kind of like, I didn't tell you so, because you know, why would I tell you so when all you got to do is open your eyes? You know, I'm kind of just like sitting back. I'm just like kind of like what's called a conscientious observer, and I kind of just like peep what's going on, and you know, and I just kind of like respond when I see what's going on. You know what I mean? But it's obvious what's going on. I just kind of like, I'm not here to babysit. You know what I'm saying? Maybe sometimes. I don't know. We'll see. Thought the Illuminati silenced you within those 9 days. See, the thing about being in an Illuminati is you have to be signed up for a peculiar organization. You know, you didn't see me come into the show like this, did you? Don't make false accusations. Now that is being real American to you, bro. Don't make false. I can't even talk. Don't make false accusations, bro. Don't do that. Okay. You know, you can say fake news and you can see me do something and then I can say that I didn't do it, regardless if you saw it or not. But don't you dare make false accusations against me, because I don't like it. And that's American of me to choose what I want you to talk about. That's kind of like what we're talking about today. You know, let me finish these comments and I'll talk about what we're talking about. Welcome in, everybody. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. I go by the name SOLARMAN. I am out of here. You know, not out of my mind. Don't judge me. Maybe you should. Maybe that's an American of you as well. Anyway, let me get into my topics. We're in Minnesota. Okay. You know, we're in Minnesota today, you know, not naturally because I have a home, you know, I'm a homeowner, you know what I mean? Even, I'm a homeowner. All right. We're in Minnesota today. And today we got to start off by talking about, you know, kind of like why 60% of generational Gen Z feels like most people are just like out for themselves and most people don't care anything about anybody else. You know what I mean? Like, why do people feel like that? Why do you guys feel like most people are just out for themselves? Before I get into my topics, let me know. Talk to me, please. Please talk to me, please. Let me see what y'all talking about. The blah, 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 blah. What time do you? Oh, bro, that's who you are. I've seen you. Okay, that's who you are. I thought you were somebody else. So Cal is the Fenwick dude. Are you from over there by like you know, because my country's trying to take over your country because you kind of got like that last name like Fenwick. Greenland just sent more troops, or Denmark just sent troops to Greenland just in case America wants to go over there and kind of like bully and like switch the narrative around and say that, you know, we had to do something. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Anyways, we're in Minnesota today, guys. I'll slow my speech down because, you know, I'm kind of excited. I haven't seen you guys in a long time. And for those of y'all that's casually jumping in and out, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. We are the biggest, by the way. All you got to do is double tap the screen if you want to support. I don't know. It's up to you. You know, anyways, Jake Lang, do you know him? I just learned about him about a few months ago. And the reason I learned about him was through watching a viral video of this guy going to a public city hall meeting saying that white America needs to stand up and fight because this country was founded for white men. And Muslims and black niggers, this is what he said. Black niggers, this is what he said. Black niggers, that's what he said, are in our way of white man's sovereignty. This is what he said. That's what he said. So I learned about Jake Lang, who's been getting a lot of attention. People like him and Gypsy Crusader, who kind of like people on my Discord, they want me to debate him. But it's like, I don't want to debate anybody who doesn't have anything of substance to say. You know, these people that they want me to debate, they don't have anything of substance to say. All you're going to do is just tell me how much of a shit race I am, how much of a nigger I am. And, you know, your statistics are going to be fed through bullshit. And you really don't have anything of substance to say other than anything to demoralize and demonize me as a person or individual instead of talking about things that may be factually true. So it's like, I kind of even don't want to talk to no type of Gypsy Crusade. Anyways, Jake Long was in Minnesota, guys. He was in Minnesota. Make sure I think you need water. That's why I have water. This episode is brought to you by Ascension. Thank you. Anyways, listen to the topic. Jake Lang was in Minnesota and he had a rally, because these people like to rally. He had a rally, whereas he wanted to basically He wanted to galvanize the silent white majority to because there's a big thing going on with Somalians and in Minnesota and money embezzlement and fraud because America cares a lot about fraud, even though that most white collar crimes are not committed by other ethnicities other than that's neither here nor there. Actually, it is here. Most white collar crimes is what that would be called is committed by the upper silent white majority. And that's just a fact. But anyways, Jake Lang is mad about Somalians moving into his country. Not just him. A lot of Christian nationalists are mad about Muslims and the growing Muslim communities that are going on in our cities. They're mad that these people are moving into our communities and bringing not only their radical faith, because 9/11 changed people's perceptions about Islam, but bringing their radical faith with them. But then also, they're stealing money from the government. That's the U.S. taxpayers. How do you guys feel about this? How do you feel about getting your money stolen from immigrants who claim to have daycare centers, but actually there's no kids at the daycare, which is what, these white nationalists say. There's no kids at these daycares. They're actually fraud. Where's their proof? Well, there was one case of a daycare, as I'm aware of. There was one case of a daycare that was seeming to be organized as a daycare center, but there wasn't any kids in the daycare. That happened one time. There was a confirmed case, and that daycare center, whoever those people are, they are being held accountable under the court. So is it all these Somalians? Because, just like the white community, just like the black community, just like the Asian community, whenever these immigrants come over here, they form themselves in their own communities and they pool their money and their resources and they stop buying up all the property and all the land in those specific areas that they move into. And then they create their own little mini city within a city. They create their own community within a community. This has been happening since, the Mayflower. This has been happening for a long time. This has been happening for a long time. So here's the thing, people. The issue isn't whether these Muslims are. The issue isn't. My bad, bro. Let me answer y'all comments. My dad is from England, gang. Right on. You're more American than me, probably. Because England is like America. You know what I mean? England is America, bro. You know what I'm saying? England is America. I was born in America. Right on, bro. DDG changed his outfit and lost viewers. I don't care nothing about DDG. I'm sorry. I think I already read that one. Anyways. The issue here, people, is not do we care about Somalians stealing money? That's not really the issue. Because if you guys look at my thumbnail, we send more money to Israel than we do any other nation in the world, more than we do our own people. Israelis have free healthcare and free education for their kids. So they have free healthcare for their people and they have free education for their kids. We don't have that in this country. So we don't really care about where we send our money. We care who we send our money to. It's a difference. I know we a little, you know what I'm saying? I know I'm supposed to wait for I'm not going to wait. We don't care about the money. We care who we're giving the money to and what they look like. So Jake Lang, he's the far right activist for white supremacy. And hey, there's no thing wrong with caring about the lineage, the sovereignty, and the expression of your people. I do so. I wouldn't call myself a black extremist or a black nationalist. I would just say that I care deeply about my people. My people. I care about my people. So there's nothing wrong with caring about your people. The only thing wrong is when, in order for me to care about my people, I have to disparagingly tear down or really come against your people in order to uplift my people. And in the game of war, in the game of life, this episode was brought to you by Essential Water, by the way. So make sure that when you go buy one, you think about me when you do it. I don't have a code for you yet, but this is how you do it. Anyways, in the game of life, we're What happens is that, you know, usually when you get a big enough group of people, and if you have the numbers and you want to expand your territory, usually you have to come against other groups of people through violence. That's just the way that goes. That's just the way that goes. That's just the way that goes. Hold on. I think there's a way. So supposedly I should be able to do this horizontally, but like, yo, they be perping. They be perping, bro. They be perping. You can't do it horizontally. Anyways, take a swig. Anyways, I figured out though why people are so mad. I get it. Because something happened to me today that made me understand why people are the way that they are, right? I was going to the store today, and on my way to the store, first I was going to K. Rogers. You know K. Rogers, Kroger, K. Rogers. I was going to K. Rogers, and one thing about me, people, I really, really, really don't like panhandlers. You know, not because I think that I'm better than them as people, or not that I think that, you know, people don't need help. I don't like panhandlers, and I don't like solicitors. Meaning when I go into a store, you know, those people that stand at the entrance of the store that you have to walk past them. And then as you're walking past them, they're asking you for donations. They're asking you to donate to their cause or stuff like that. But they're in the way of you coming in or leaving. Yeah, those people. I cannot stand those people. I will leave a store if I see those people in front of the store. I promise you. So that's exactly what I did. And it was in a shopping center too. So K. Rogers is right here. And, you know, I'm driving past it and something tells me like, man, because I didn't go to the store early in the morning. So something tells me like, yo, look through the glass and see if there's anybody in the front, you know, soliciting. I do that. I drive by real slow, like GTA or something. I'm sliding. I drive by and I look to the left. I'll be damned. It's somebody asking for donations for his AAU team. I can't go in that store. No, I have to go in that way. You have to talk to me in order for me to go that way. You know what I mean? In order for me to go into the store, and then you're going to be looking at me as I exit out. No. So I turn my SUV around because, you know, I have an SUV. It's pretty nice. I turn my SUV around and I go about 40 feet that way, you know, down the street to Dollar Tree, which is in the same shopping complex. I'm thinking I got off scot-free. You know what I'm saying? I hate panhandlers, deal with them at work all the time. Yeah, bro. I cannot, bro. I will leave a business. I will drop what I'm doing and go somewhere else. That's what I did. Anyways, I slide through. You know, I obey the parking lot rules too. I don't just cut through a bunch of parking spaces and almost kill people. You know, that's, you know, obeying the rules. You know, I follow the lines. I go to Dollar Tree. I find a parking spot. I pull into it. I pull forward into it. And as I'm doing so, somebody kind of like erratically is pulling in next to me as well. It's a gentleman pulling his car into Dollar Tree as well. And like, I guess I'm going to tell you the story. Anyways, I'm pulling up. He pulls up to the side of me as well. And I guess he didn't like that I'm parked right next to him. I understand. I haven't been like this before when I'm thinking too much. You know what I'm saying? When I'm thinking too much, I done been like this before. I don't want to be bothered. I don't want you to park next to me. I don't want you to look at me. You know what I mean? Very, very selfish. Very, very selfish. Anyways, I'm pulling up. He pull up right next to him. He takes his car and parks it on the opposite side of the parking lot, you know, and backs in, but he does it very erratically. And then when he gets out of his car, he kind of like stares into my car, you know, and I got like a fishbowl, what's called a fishbowl tent, meaning you can see everything that's going on in my car, you know, because I really don't believe in a tent per se, because it's like, for what? I don't have anything to hide. And, you know, I usually only go from point A, B to Z. A, B, C, A. A, B, C, A. I don't know. I'm not that smart. Anyways, so that's what I was doing. And then he's staring all in my car. And then as I get, you know what I mean? I'm kind of like, boy, what the, you know what I'm saying? What he looking at? What is he looking at? You know, I know what he's looking at. You know, he's annoyed it in his mind. He might be off of something. I didn't know yet. I go into this Dollar Tree, who has very poor customer service, by the way. That's another one of my biggest pet peeves is customer service. The rate of customer service in this country has declined to such an extent where it's disgusting. I don't know if you've noticed this as well, but the customer service in this country is disgusting by and large. You know, I go into the store, don't nobody say nothing to you, you know. I see a lady working on a shelf. It's already disorganized all throughout the store. Like it's cluttered. It's disgusting in there. You know what I'm saying? But I speak to one of the workers. One of the workers don't really say nothing to me. You know, she just look at me kind of like a mean mug. I will leave a store. Now, this version of me, I will leave a store because of that too. Customer service is everything to me. Customer service is everything to me. Oh, welcome in, gang. What's going on? I know I haven't seen y'all in about 9 days. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. We are the biggest, by the way. I go by the name SOLARMAN. All I got to do is double tap the screen. It's nice to see you guys, though. And I was late, but you can't prove it, so I wasn't late. I'm an American. Prove it. Prove that it was my fault that I was late. American. That's who I am. Anyways, I walk into the store. All I wanted was some cash back because I was just going to use that to go to the local rec so I could put up some shots. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm cold with this rock. I'm cold. Not crack rock. Basketball. I'm cold with that basketball. So I was going to get some cash back to do that because I couldn't get it from Kroger's for the reason I just said. It was somebody soliciting at the beginning at the edge of the store. And I hate solicitors. Anyways, I go in, I get my stuff, and I'm like, yo, this weird dude about to be behind me. I know he is. I'll be damned, even though I'm trying to hurry up and get my stuff. You know, I grab my little Kit Kat bar. You feel me? I walk up to the register, and I didn't label this as story time, but this is important because I think this talks about where we are as a country, where we are as a people. Anyways, I walk up to the register, and it's somebody in front of me, and you know, the lady kind of like mean mugging me because I'm not at the right register, but I'm like, yo, you nasty built sloppy. You know, you can get real mean when customer service is bad, but I'm in a good mood because I love myself. She hates herself. She hates her job. She hates her life. She hates that she works at Dollar Tree. A job is a job, people. You can come up anywhere, you know, but in how you treat people is everything. Anyways, you never know who you're talking to. I can never go back to that store. Anyways, I walk up to the register, somebody in front of me, you know, and then here come this creature behind me, you know, this thing behind me, you know, and he's so close to me, bro. Like he's very close to me, you know, and I'm not into men being close to me. I'm not. I will stand this way if you're right behind me like this. I will stand this way. I hate men being behind me. I hate it. You know, I'm not into it. I'm just not into it. You know, I don't trust people, genuinely speaking, especially if you get that close to me. So I start standing like this. And he's so close to me that I look him in his eyes when I turn around and his eyes is right there. You feel me? And I say, what's up, bro? Yeah, what's up? You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like an aggressive what's up, though. Like if you're from my community, the what's up was kind of like, yeah, nigga, like what you gonna do? Like, it was kind of like one of them what's ups. I looked him in his eyes and I could smell the disgusting cheap beer or liqueur, the liqueur on his breath. I could smell it. It was disgusting. It smelled mildew. It smelled, anyways, he was inebriated. So the reason for his actions was because his mind was not in a place of sobriety. What am I getting at? What I'm getting at is that the reason that we're having a lot of these issues is because we're not looking at this sober-mindedly. No, I don't believe that we are. Welcome in, everybody. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe when you get a chance. We're not looking at this we're not looking at life soberly. And it doesn't necessarily take a substance for you to look at life with a inebriated point of view. You know, I got to the register. Long story short, I got to the register. I put my Kit Kat right there. I say, excuse me. You know, I'm still being polite, even though I did not get met with politeness. I'm saying, excuse me. Do y'all do cash back? She said, she didn't even look at me. She said, nah, we don't do. She said, no, we don't do. All right. I left it on the shelf, even though I didn't grab it from that aisle. I grabbed it from a totally different aisle. She's going to have to put that back. Yeah, I gave her some extra to do. I put it right there. You know, bad customer service. You got some extra to do now. Hey, that's kind of like you know, that wasn't nice, but that's what I did. I felt disrespected. And I was tired of that man being right behind me. Anyways, I put my Kit Kat down. I just leave. And I put it right somewhere very inconvenient too. She has to move it. She has to. She has to. So I walk out and then I just realize as I'm getting back into my car and I'm about to pull out, and there's a light that I have to go through. And as the light turns green, somebody comes casually into my lane, so I'm this way. Somebody comes casually into my lane going that way when their light was red. So people aren't sober minded and people aren't paying attention. I'm cooking right here. And this is still a lot about Jake Lang too. This has to do with Jake Lang, my first topic. People aren't sober minded and people aren't paying attention. I've never heard of that spirit. I need to research that. People aren't sober minded and people are not paying attention. And if you allow it, if I allow those spirits to enter my vessel because I have not ordained myself with peace before I left my temple, which is my home, which is also my body, my inner temple, but my outer temple is my home. If I had not ordained myself with peace before I left, I would have easily fell victim to the spirits that labored amongst me. Yes, I'm getting somewhere. This is important. This is very important, people. I'm moving to the couch, so it's getting serious. Don't look at that wall. I know I need to clean it. Don't judge me. Anyways, the spirits that labored amongst me can easily affect me if I allow it into my vessel. If I did not walk out sober-minded, I am very sober, people. I'm extremely sober. Not just because I don't smoke, I don't drink, not just because I'm celibate, not just because of any of that, because I am aware of my thoughts at all times and I hold myself accountable to them. These people do not do so. Jake Lang is not sober-minded. Jake Lang he tried to hold a far-right white nationalist rally in Minnesota, amidst all the anti-ICE protests and stuff like that. Because online, people are really tough. People are very, very tough. And he has a very big following and gathering online, but that doesn't necessarily translate to the outside world. This is getting somewhere now. That doesn't necessarily translate to the outside world. We find that kind of often in culture right now. We find that a real good example of that is a lot of these rappers. You could do these prostitute rappers. You could do these drill rappers. A lot of them, they have a big following online, but when it's time to pull in revenue from having a physical interaction, a physical show, they cannot sell tickets. They can't. Because it's the dopamine effect of the spectacle. It's the dopamine effect of the spectacle that people are enamored with, that people are enthralled with. See, Jake Lang is rhetoric where he speaks and he finds every single group of people to blame outside of his own life and look at his own life and wonder why he's not the man that he wishes to be, or wonder why his people aren't where he feels like they should be, even though they make up 82% of the national wealth in this country. Even though they are by and large still the main, I'm talking about white men primarily, are still 66% in charge at these companies. He still doesn't feel like he's getting a fair shake at life. Even though the EOCC, which I don't know the acronyms, but I read that somewhere. I believe it's a part of the Department of Justice, something like that. Even though they just said, if you're a white male or woman and you feel discriminated at or against on your job, to contact us. I've never heard them do this for anybody else. But if you feel discriminated against, contact us because you have a case here. Even though all these things are working in their benefit. And this isn't a white thing. This isn't a black. I'm just saying this is a spiritual thing. Even though all these things are working in his benefit, he still feels the need to have hatred in his heart and to find someone to blame instead of accountability. Now, these people love to use that word accountability. They use it interchangeably, particularly when it's not their own race. My people, they use it all the time. You people need to be accountable. You people don't take care of your kids. You people benefit too much from the government. You people, you people, you people. There's no accountability in their statements. You people should thank us for slavery. You should. We took you out of the jungle from swinging on trees. These people are sober-minded. These people have a spiritual attachment, and it's making them blind, and it's sucking the resources in the life out of a once promising nation. This is still a very promising nation, but we have a spiritual, what's the word? We have a spiritual, what's the word? We have a spiritual parasite that has attached itself to this nation. Not just us in the modern world. There's a spiritual parasite that has attached itself to this world. And I'll talk about it more in just a second. Let's see what y'all talking about. Own world nowadays, there's too many distractions. Facts. Everyone seems like they in their own world nowadays. That's a big fact. Dudes like that be bold. Yeah, drunk dudes or dudes, ain't, so here's the thing about me. I'm afraid of everybody. I'm suspicious of everybody. I think you're way tougher than me. I don't think I'm tough. I don't think I don't think nothing. But what that does for me is it makes me very, very dangerous. It makes me very, very agile, and I don't want to fight you. But if I'm going to be around you, especially if you're right behind me, I'm going to line you up very quickly. His chin would have been cracked so quickly that he would have been asleep. And then when he would have been asleep, I would have stomped him in his neck. So I lined him up pretty quickly. And when you're not sober-minded, yeah, that gives you confidence, but it gives you a false sense of hope. I take me, clocking your chin, than you being you being intoxicated, thinking you just about to get over on a light skinned dude because I'm light skinned and I look soft. If that's what you think, yeah, dudes like him be bold and they be in the way, and he's on his way to jail. You know what I'm saying? He's on his way to jail. Body eating spirit is the spirit that comes from alcohol that people give possession when they drink. Oh, alcohol. Oh, yo, not that smart. My bad. My bad. Leave it to Jake Lang. It's just I guess I'm just a product of my race that I didn't catch on to that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's a body eating parasite. It's a body eating spirit. And that's not with people who like Jake Lang, Gypsy Crusader. That's not what these people suffer from, primarily speaking. I'm not sure if they do drink. I'm not sure about anything like that, but that's not necessarily what they suffer from. What they suffer from, or what they allow into their vessel, is they allow a spirit of distraction. They allow a spirit of distraction to dictate to them where their attention goes. What am I saying? I'm saying that it's very convenient for them to have a common enemy, which is the melanated people, or particularly the black male and woman in America, because we're easy targets. It's very easy for them to look at us and to think, hey, our lives would be better if you people didn't exist. It's very easy for them to do that. Why is this so easy? Well, history. History. So my first topic was Jake Lang. He held a rally, but my point in saying that people ain't, that online he might be, he might have all this support, all these people saying right on, brother, or per capita, or check the stats, all these bullshit stats that they like to make up. He gets a real big following. Gypsy Crusader, they get real big support and following because it's a dopamine hit. Because as we consume all these things, it even happened to me over this week, bro. Like I told y'all in my post, I don't know if y'all follow my post. Y'all should listen to my post. I be communicating with y'all. I know I ain't seen y'all in about 9 days, but I didn't feel good because I was around people who kind of like gave me their illnesses. You know what I'm saying? I'm better now, though. Anyways, while I was recovering, I found myself scrolling a lot I found myself scrolling a lot and taking in large amounts of dopamine hits by consuming content at a high rate. And when you find yourself consuming so much content over a 36-hour, 72-hour period, you found yourself, man, I just wasted 6, 7, 8 hours of my life, a full day of my life scrolling. I haven't learned anything other than ingesting intoxicating content. That's what people like Jake Lang and Gypsy Crusader are. They're intoxicants. They're just like alcohol, but they hit a different part of the brain. Because right now we're all looking for answers as to why things don't feel right. Everybody wants to know why things don't feel right. Thank you, Lord. Everybody wants to know why things don't feel right. Why things feel off. And I'll tell you, because most of us are high, are drunk. And it doesn't even have to be a drug. It doesn't even have to be a liqueur. It doesn't have to be an alcohol spirit. A lot of times it can't be, but most of the time we're drunk off of the spirit of distraction and convenience. It's convenient for me to blame just white people for my issues. It's convenient for me. It's very easy to do as well. Very easy. Just the same way as I assume that they look back on us and say, hey, look at you blacks. You know, who cares if we have statistics of CIA dropping drugs off in your community? Who cares if, historically speaking, you guys are over policed to the extent of prison style engagement when we interact with you, even on the streets? Who cares about all that? You people are criminals. We got to watch y'all. We have to watch you people. We got to watch you niggas. If we don't, then the country goes to shit. Historically speaking, we know that hasn't been true, but let them tell it. They got all types of crime statistics that suggest otherwise. It's convenient for me to hate somebody like that. It's convenient for me to wish death upon somebody like that. And it's convenient for me to consume content that suggests that those people, if they were gone from this planet, would make my life better. It's very convenient for me to do, honestly. I almost fell into that trap as well. A pure hatred. But what keeps me sober-minded, not only is my habits, and I like to consider myself disciplined. People, don't look at my window, wall, mirror. Don't look at it. Don't look at that. I only come down here when I do content, and I ain't did content in like a week. I got a big old house. I be other places. If you want to judge me for that, then I guess judge me. If you don't judge me for that, I guess judge me. Anyways, it's convenient for me to have a person to point the finger at. And hey, there are truths in every lie. And there's truth in hate. There is. We can learn a lot. You can learn a lot from people that hate you. You can be like, dang, I never looked at it like that. Maybe they have a point. Well, that did happen. Blah, blah, blah. You can learn a lot from people who do not wish you well because they only look at things that make you less desirable. Jake Lang. So what happened with Jake Lang, though, and what gives me hope for this country, what gives me hope for this world, what gives me hope for this nation is this simple fact right here, people. I'm going to tell you right now. And we have 6ix9ine, by the way, so we cooking. We cooking. It's true. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, everybody. We are the biggest, by the way. I go by the name SOLARMAN. I'm out of here. Don't forget to double tap the screen. Give us a like, share, comment, subscribe. Salamat. Thank you. Gracias. Merci beaucoup. Anyways, Jake Lang, he was trying to have his rally. But again, the internet does not translate to the real world per se. So he had a rally. About 24 of his people showed up. and their strength in numbers, particularly when it's hate. His type of rhetoric is not labeled, or his type of organizations that he belongs to do not classify themselves, or are not classified outwardly so, as domestic terrorists, even though they practice a literal form of discrimination and biased based on race, sex, religion, and they wish eradication of anything that is not white Protestant. Okay, I digress. He had a rally. He had about 24 people there, maybe more, maybe less. That's just the report. He had about 24 people there. It did not go the way that he thought it would, like, the support he gets online. It did not go that way. In fact, it went the opposite way. I don't know if you guys know anything about this country, but the Muslims have a very big support system in this country. And I know that cover's been there for like a month. I'm going to move it. Don't judge me. Don't judge me, people. Jeez. Muslims have a very big support system in this community, in this country, and outstandingly so. Not only did a bunch of Muslims, a bunch of Christians, a bunch of everybody kind of showed up. Not that many black people, but a bunch of everybody else kind of showed up. And, he did not get the reception that he so desired. In fact, it kind of went the opposite way. In fact, not only did he get chased off, but he did not finish his speech. He likes to use the word nigger interchangeably. Yeah, these people these people are really brave now. They've never had the fear of death in their eyes and their heart because they've been online so long for the last few years, last few months. And these feelings that they've already had for my particular group of people and others, they feel now more comfortable to outwardly express them because it gives them this, again, what we just talked about. It gives them this a comfort to know that they can have somebody to look down upon because they can have somebody to blame for the state of the world, for the reason that they're in a shit position, for the reason that they didn't add up to what they believe that they should be. He had the rally. A bunch of other people showed up. He would have kind of got mauled and got beaten up by a crowd, but lo and behold, somebody came to his safety. Somebody came to us to save him, to help him, and to escort him through the crowd of people that wanted to hurt him, and people that were throwing snowballs at him, water balls at him. Some other people were punching on him in the back of his head. Other people were throwing him down to the ground. They would have mauled him, but lo and behold, a savior came. He came like a thief in the night. Was he white? Was he an Anglo-Saxon? Was he a white Protestant male? No. He was Negro. He was Negro. A nigger came to help him. Oh, the same people that statistically abuse and kill white men way more than whites do blacks. I don't know what the freak these people are talking about. But a nigger came to help him. That's what he would say. That's what these people say about us. And they've been saying it more openly. He stood in front of this man while this crowd wanted to assault him. A predominantly white crowd. They wanted to assault him. They wanted to throw him to the ground. They wanted to beat him up. They wanted to stomp him. And a black came to help him. A black male, American male came to help him. I don't know. Perhaps our prejudices are not based in fact. Perhaps our biases exist because if we live in a realm of separation, we live in a place where we articulate doom scrolling or convenient media and convenient truths to actual reality. Perhaps, if you experience the real world for yourself, going outside, involving yourself in culture, stepping outside of your comfort zone, perhaps you will experience a world that does not fit your narrative. Perhaps. He got drugged to comfort and to safety and walked all the way back to his hotel room by two black men, American blacks, not Nigerian blacks, not no other black, American blacks, the worst of the worst, the lowest of the totem pole, the most despicable of humans, these people would say. God speaks in many ways. It was not his time to die. God gives many opportunities for you to liberate yourself. It's called repentance. I myself have been given many opportunities to repent, not just because of my bigotry, because of my hatred, but for other reasons. Perhaps right now, what we're seeing, and with all the constant feed of doom scrolling information, with all the dopamine hits, with all the access to convenient media, perhaps now what we're getting is an opportunity to separate the outside from what's actually going on internally. Let me read a few comments before I move to my next topic. I feel you. Most people get caught up in consuming. We are creators when we create in beings. When we create, it brings us a sense of peace because I saw our purpose. We are here because it's our purpose. We are here to create. That's exactly what we're here to do. We are the creators. We are the creators. We are the creators of reality. We are not the creators of the universe, but we are the maintainers, the maintenancers. I don't think that's a word. It's a word right now. We are the maintainers of said reality. We are the curators and the organizers of the planet that we live on. We are. Welcome in, everybody. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I go by the name SOLARMAN, and I just got finished breaking down my first topic, which is Jake Lang, and kind of like, he has a chance to repent and self-reflect now. A lot of people don't get that opportunity. A lot of people die in their sin. We die in our sin. We die for lack of understanding. We die in a place of low vibration. There has to be a God. Why? Because he gives opportunity, and I use he in the masculine sense just for a place of understanding. But we understand God in the masculine and feminine. There has to be a God because we still have grace. We have the grace to change. That's my first topic with Jake Lang. We have the grace to change. The second topic, and I kind of been saying his name the whole time, and it kind of is the same thing as far as the Jake Lang thing, but it's kind of different, kind of a little bit. It's Gypsy Crusader. Have y'all heard about him? Do y'all know who I'm talking about? I haven't. I didn't know about this Gypsy Crusader dude. Again, I got a Discord. Y'all should join that too. I'm kind of like going to get more active on that, especially this year. This is our year, people. We finally are monetized now, by the way. I just want to let y'all know that, with no support, with no big following, we kind of like doing our thing. You know what I mean? Anyways, Gypsy Crusader. I didn't know about this guy. But when I researched and did my homework about this guy, he is the definition of ignorance. He is the definition of needing someone to blame to make yourself feel better about yourself. Gypsy Crusader, if you go look him out right now, I don't suggest you do. Finish watching my show. But after that, if that's what you want to do with your time, I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm going to just say I wouldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? But if you're going to do it, what you're going to find is that he loves not only to use the nigger word, he loves using it interchangeably, but also he loves blaming anyone who isn't a white Protestant male about issues relation to our country. That's what he loves doing. Gypsy Crusader. That's who he is. He is a race baiting. Can I call him a C word? I'm not going to say that, Lord. I'm not going to say it. 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 He is a race baiting, a blunt. Fill it with a C. You know, and he dares you to do something, even though he never makes public appearances. I've never seen him outside. Never. Anyways, what I learned about these people, just like a Jake Lang, that these people aren't very secure within themselves. Jake Lang doesn't even look like Jake Lang, just along with Gypsy Crusader, just along with Nick Fuentes, a lot of these rising race baiting content creators, they're not even they're not even fully white Protestant. They're like mixed race with a bunch of other stuff that ain't got nothing to do with the white male that they're talking about. And this whole live isn't just about white nationalists. This isn't about this. What this is about is just the state of our consuming and who we are as people right now. That's what this is about. That's what this is about, people. That's what this is about. Gypsy Crusader is someone who isn't really interested in making the world a better place. He isn't even interested in finding solutions for some of the dehumanizing things that he says about my people. He's only interested in spreading dopamine, spreading a narrative of, see, look, here's an example of you people. The Hodge twins do it. Jesse Lee Peterson does it, etc. We have a lot of examples of this, but it's very easily to do so. It's very easy to do so. Again, because we're all looking for somebody to blame right now. Which kind of brings me to my next point. If we're all looking for somebody to blame, who is it then that we can actually blame? Like, who's to blame for what's going on in the world right now? Whose fault is it? You know, kind of like that thing, like, you know, who wants to be a millionaire? You know, who wants to be, who's behind the veil? Like, who's behind the curtain of the reason that the world is the way that the world is? And I just seen the comment. This is who's to blame. I'm going to show you right now. You're going to be shocked because it looks crazy. That's who you should blame. It's not just me, though. Not just me. The world isn't SOLARMAN's fault, per se. Sometimes, not all the time. Sometimes I do contribute to it. I figured out why all of us are mad. We're mad for a numerous amounts of reasons. I mean, you could take away the GMOs, the pesticides, the literal contamination of our food supply here in the western part of the world, UK included. You could include that. You could also include the chemtrails that are sprayed on a daily to weekly to monthly, bi-weekly, bi-monthly time period that release toxins in heavy, in harmful metals and things like that in our atmosphere, and that alter our sense of perception and reality and intoxicate us. You could even add the fumes that go around, especially when you're in these industrial places that we inhale that alter our sense of perception and reality and do affect our mood. You can exclude all that, but I will grant you that. You can exclude all that, though, for right now. Because at the end and the beginning of the day, the reason that you are the way you are is because of the choices that you've made up until now. When I was at my most angriest and my most hate-filled, not just with, racist white people or racist Indian people, racist people. When I was at my most hate-filled place, Now that I look at that sober-mindedly from a place of observation, I sit back and I realize that there were many different things that contributed to my mood, and to my decisions. What I ate, what I consumed was very much telling of how I felt. Did not necessarily care what I put into my vessel, what I consumed with my eyes. When I was at my most hate-filled and rage-filled and having someone to blame, I was still, not all the time, but I was still temporarily consuming pornography. Having loose fornication. Looking for validation in strangers. Associating with people based on substance use, meaning just trying to smoke and numb myself. Just trying to go drink and numb myself. Just trying to go find an easy pickup. I associated with people based on my vices. When I was at my most numb state and also at my most prejudiced state, I consumed content that only made me feel more confident about myself or only reaffirmed my prejudice. That's the issue that we find ourselves in. We are at a place right now where we have a lot of grace, because as toxic as things are getting right now, we still have the grace to say, okay, I can turn that off. Okay, I can go outside and I can be a decent human being. I can. I have the grace to do that still. We can still do that. It is an option. That's where I'm at with it right now, people. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's where I'm at with it right now. I realize though, like, so the more and more I consume political content and political rhetoric from the left and the right, I realize that these people, primarily speaking, aren't interested in solutions. These people are only interested in galvanizing their base, and they will say or do anything that gives them to a place of promise. There's a thing that I wanted to talk about as well. I didn't put this in my thumbnail, but I think it's very interesting. I think you guys should check it out. It's called and for those of y'all watching this back, and for those of y'all casually coming in and out, what y'all should do, I know we're low on the number right now. But anyways, what y'all should do is check out this thing. It's called the APAC tracker. So that's just one of the ways that I look at to see a politician's biased. Meaning, what I'm saying to you is that I just told y'all that we send more foreign aid to Israel than we do any other country, even investing in their military infrastructure, investing into their healthcare, investing into their educational system. We send more money there almost as equally, if not more, than we invest in our own country. Anyways, when I realized that, and then I also realized that 90% of your politicians, U.S. politicians, local, state, and federal, are, the top of the top representatives are compromised as far as accepting money from these Israelis, these so-called Israelis. Most people, what I'm saying to you is, I'm getting back into the mood of doing this, but what I'm saying to you is that I figured out that most people are accepting money from outsiders, and then they coming back and acting like they're for the American people. They're not for the American people. In a way that you can track that, and you can start kind of like putting two and two together, and you can kind of see like, okay, I see what Brett's talking about. It's called an APAC tracker. Who's accepting money from Israel? Who's accepting money from Israel? Who? You know what I'm saying? Like, most of your U.S. politicians are accepting large amounts of money from Israel to not. And what does it matter for? Well, it matters is, again, based off what I just said, that people will act like they're your friend when really they're just keeping you numb enough by feeling it's still the feed, whether it's on social media or whether it's the mainstream news that we're accustomed to, particularly here on the West. They're feeding you a narrative to keep you numb. And influencers and movie stars and artists. Yes, sir. Yo, this is kind of off topic, but kind of on the same topic. Yo, most of your movie stars, bro, most of your actors, most of Hollywood, most of the federal government as well. A lot, I won't say most, a large amount of the federal government is are Jews. I'm not saying that they have an implicit bias because they are Jews. All I'm saying is that a lot of them are Jews, a lot of them, and they control. A lot of them are in heads of media and finance. I didn't know how much so, and this isn't a Hitler was right kind of thing. This is just an observation thing. So, anyways, going with the APAC thing, you can go on. There's an APAC tracker. You can see based on your state, based on your region, you can see who, what politician accepting what from whom. But just because they don't accept money from APAC doesn't mean that they're good in another area. But it does mean that they're not necessarily compromised to that extreme. But I will tell you this. It's much, 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 much more harder, bro, to find somebody that hasn't been compromised than to find somebody that has been compromised. It's much harder to find somebody that hasn't accepted money from APAC than to find people that have. Most of them have. And the loudest ones are the ones that accept the most money. So then when you realize that, you kind of got to look back and kind of think like, yo, are they telling me information based on making America great? Or are they literally the bad guys in the movie? And then if that's the case, what do I as an American citizen, what do I as an American citizen have within my power that could change this, or that can, or as a United Kingdom citizen, as a free citizen of a free world, wherever that may be, what do I have within my power to bring attention or light to this? Well, I can do this right here. And I can also approach everything with sobriety, with a sober mindedness. So there's many reasons for my sobriety right now. Many reasons. A lot of the reasons, again, were personal. I just couldn't just wake up and just be high every day. Like, how often am I going to be high? When does it stop? When is enough enough? When am I going to be okay with being sober? Will I be like this for the rest of my life? When is the ritual of going out every weekend, going to these same bars or just going to different bars, hearing the same music, seeing the same type of people, doing the ritual of peacocking to trying to get attention from women, even if you're trying to act like you're not? When is that going to stop? When do I take control over my life and my destiny? And then as I sobered up, I realized that the people I'm around, like, yo, these people not my friends. These people not my friends. I don't like her. I don't like him. He don't like me. I realized that. And as I go into the world, I realize this. And it gives me a sense of protection. I'm not going to lie to you. A majority of the Senate and Congress too. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm alluding to. Exactly what I'm alluding to. Exactly what I'm alluding to. So I'm not going to keep y'all for a long time. Gypsy Crusader, Jake Lang. Who else did I want to talk about? We send more foreign aid to Israel than we do any other. Yo, what's up with the Calic? Anyways, we send more money to Israel than we do invest in our own infrastructure. Again, Israelis have free healthcare and free education. America doesn't have that. It's an interesting thing. It's an interesting thing. Very interesting. Jews in New York have a Jew force, and I don't say this racially. I say this as a matter of fact. They have a Jew force where they police their own neighborhoods with their own police unit that is funded by the NYPD. That is a fact. You can Google me. You can Google me. Why do I say that as a problem? Like, what's the problem with policing your own neighborhoods? Well, kind of like my people tried it too. You know, it was called the Black Panther Party, and kind of like the Black Panther Party was labeled as domestic terrorist. They kind of like they got shot at. Even to this day, Huey P. Newton, one of the founders of the Black Panther Party, not only was he falsely incarcerated, but then also as he died, his graveyard gets shot up every single year by police officers. Anyways, I say all that to say that it's very interesting the implicit bias that we have with a particular group of racial people, with a particular racial group of people. It seems to be an implicit bias here. I'm not so sure, but it seems to be so. It seems to be so. It seems to be so. That's just an observation. More on that later. I appreciate y'all being here. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and watch this back. Hype up the video. I'll see y'all tomorrow, Lord willing. Peace.